When the final hour of judgment descends upon humanity, it will arrive not as a distant rumor or a quiet whisper carried on the winds of time, but as an overwhelming reality that no soul will escape. In that moment, every secret once buried in the recesses of the human heart will rise to the surface with a clarity so sharp and undeniable that no tongue will succeed in crafting excuses, and no mind will manage to rewrite its history to appear innocent or pure. The universe will seem to pause as every man and woman is confronted with the truth of their existence, truth that was witnessed every day by the earth beneath their feet, the angels who recorded each breath and action, and the bodies that carried their deeds and silence. On that day, the world will not need witnesses external to humanity, for the ground itself will speak, revealing footprints of obedience or rebellion. The angels will testify with absolute accuracy, delivering records that never once erred. And the limbs of the human being, hands, feet, eyes, tongues, and hearts, will articulate everything they ever did, even those actions committed in places of darkness where no human eye could see. And as this cosmic unveiling unfolds, every individual will finally realize the immeasurable weight of a lifetime, the gravity of choices, and the ultimate justice of the one who allowed every deed to be written with patience and mercy. The scene of judgment will shake the consciousness of every soul, for nothing will be hidden behind poetic excuses or clever justifications on that eternal day. Each person, regardless of status, wealth, or reputation, will stand alone before their Creator, with nothing but their actions as their cloak. The arrogant will feel small, the deceivers will tremble, and the righteous, those whose hearts carried sincerity even in silence, will shine with a tranquility unknown in the worldly life. And in the midst of reflecting on this profound truth, dear seekers of light and awakening, I invite you to subscribe to ARS Spiritual Vibes and share your reflections in the comments below, so our community of awakened souls may continue growing and supporting one another in this journey toward higher understanding and spiritual clarity. For there is something powerful than walking this path together, recognizing that time is limited and that guidance is a treasure far more valuable than the temporary illusions of this world. As the day of reckoning unfolds in full majesty, humanity will witness scenes that defy imagination. Mountains crumbling into dust, oceans set ablaze, the sky ripped apart like fragile cloth, and the earth stretched flat as a scroll. All illusions of control will shatter in an instant. The tyrants who once roared in defiance will find their voices stolen by fear. The liars who once manipulated truth will see their tongues testify against them. And the bodies used to sin will no longer obey their owner's commands to remain silent. Every testimony will align perfectly, forming a tapestry of truth that cannot be challenged or undone. At that moment, people will desperately wish they had lived according to the truth instead of chasing shadows. Many will plead for a second chance, but the era of mercy will have ended, and only justice will remain standing. The souls that once ignored divine reminders will feel regret deeper than oceans, regret so profound that it echoes through the very essence of their being. Yet for those who watch with humility, sincerity, and fear of God, the unveiling of truth will be a moment of relief, a validation that their struggles, sacrifices, and tears were all seen and counted by the most merciful. Such souls will stand honored, while others kneel in despair, proving that the path of righteousness, though difficult, was always the only path worth walking.
There comes a moment in every seeker's life when the invisible begins to reveal its contours, when the quiet whispers you once ignored suddenly form a symphony that echoes through your days, shaping your inner landscape with a clarity you cannot deny. This moment, subtle yet powerful, marks a shift in how you perceive reality. You begin to sense that life is not only happening around you, but also unfolding within you, responding to your thoughts, your intentions, and the vibration you carry in your soul. It becomes clear that the universe is far more alive, far more intentional, far more responsive than you ever realized. You start noticing that the coincidences you brushed aside before are now forming patterns that feel like guidance. Like the universe is gently steering your path, aligning you with something larger than your ordinary vision. You feel it in your chest, in the quiet space behind your thoughts, in the silence that follows your deepest questions. It is as if the unseen is finally allowing you a glimpse into the architecture of your destiny. In this stage of awakening, you may begin to notice changes in your emotional landscape. Things that used to disturb you no longer hold the same power. You handle delays, disappointments, and challenges differently, not because life becomes easier, but because you become softer, wiser, more tuned to the deeper currents beneath every experience. You begin to understand that everything has meaning, even the struggles that once felt like punishment. You realize that every hardship has been a teacher, shaping your character, refining your intuition, and preparing you for what is coming. The universe does not waste pain. Every fragment of your journey has been intentional. And as you recognize this, something inside you expands. Your patience deepens, your trust strengthens, and your heart feels more open than it ever has before. You begin to carry yourself with a quiet confidence, knowing that whatever unfolds is not random, but divinely structured. During this transformation, your relationship with silence also changes. What once felt empty now becomes sacred. You start seeking silence not to escape the world, but to understand it more clearly. You sit in stillness and feel the truth that words fail to capture. In silence, you recognize your own energy, your own frequency, your own alignment. You begin to sense when you are drifting away from your highest path and when you are moving toward it. You feel it in your body, in the way your chest tightens or relaxes, in the way your thoughts either race chaotically or flow like a gentle river. Silence becomes your teacher, your sanctuary, your compass. Through silence, you learn to listen, not just with your ears, but with your entire being. You listen to your intuition, to the pull of your purpose, to the subtle shifts that guide your evolution. The more you honor this silence, the more the universe reveals its secrets to you. And so, you also notice an inner detachment forming. Not coldness, but a wise separation from the illusions that once dictated your happiness. You stop needing validation from people who never understood your journey. You stop chasing approval, applause, or attention, realizing that these things never fed your soul. What truly nourishes you is alignment. Alignment with your purpose, with your inner truth, with the divine energy guiding your steps. You begin to protect your peace with more seriousness than ever before. You walk away from noise, chaos, and negativity because you finally understand that your energy is your currency, and where you spend it determines the quality of your life. You become more selective with the people you keep close, the conversations you engage in, and the environments you expose your spirit to. This is not selfishness, it is wisdom. It is the natural evolution of a soul waking up to its own power. And as this awareness deepens, so does your sensitivity to the energies around you. You start feeling things more intensely, not just emotionally, but spiritually. You sense when something is right for you and when it is not, even without logical explanation. You can meet someone and instantly feel the alignment or misalignment between your paths. You walk into a room and immediately pick up on the atmosphere, the unspoken tensions, the hidden intentions. Some people may call it intuition, but you begin to understand that it's more than that. It is connection. It is resonance. It is your inner frequency communicating with the world around you. This heightened sensitivity is not a burden. It is a gift, one that guides you toward what elevates you and away from what diminishes your light. You begin trusting this internal guidance more than the opinions of others, more than old fears, more than the limited beliefs you once carried. And throughout this entire internal shift, something else begins to awaken, a deeper sense of purpose. You may not fully understand it yet, but you feel it rising from within, calling you toward a life that feels more meaningful, more aligned, more intentional. You start sensing that your journey was never random, that all your struggles and victories were shaping you for something greater. You feel pulled toward growth, toward healing, toward transformation. You become more aware of your gifts, your empathy, your insight. your ability to see what others overlook. You begin to realize that your presence itself is a form of guidance, that your energy affects the world around you in ways you never noticed before. You carry wisdom you didn't recognize, strength you didn't acknowledge, and a calling you can no longer ignore. This gentle pull becomes stronger with each passing day, urging you to rise, to step into the version of yourself you were always meant to become. This is the stage where your soul begins to whisper the truth you have long forgotten, that you are not merely surviving, you are becoming the person your past was preparing you to be, becoming the vessel through which light moves, becoming the living proof that transformation is possible. And though the journey is far from finished, you can feel that you are entering a new chapter, one filled with clarity, alignment, understanding, and a deeper connection to the divine rhythm of existence. This is not the end of your awakening. It is only the beginning of a more conscious, empowered, spiritually attuned life.
As your inner awakening continues to unfold, you begin to recognize that everything you have experienced, every struggle, every moment of doubt, every unexpected blessing, has been guiding you towards a deeper understanding of who you are and why you are here. There comes a point when the path behind you suddenly makes sense, when all the fragmented pieces of your life merge into a coherent picture, revealing a narrative far greater than the one you once believed. You start to see that nothing was accidental, that every encounter and every challenge served a purpose in shaping your spirit. You realize that even the seasons of loneliness were sacred in their own way, for they taught you how to hear your own voice without the noise of the world interfering. You begin to embrace the truth that your journey is not a series of random events, but a divinely orchestrated unfolding designed specifically for your growth, your expansion, and your spiritual evolution. This realization brings you into a new relationship with yourself. You stop running from your past and instead approach it with compassion, understanding that the wounds you carried were not signs of weakness, but symbols of transformation, proof that you have endured, learned, grown, and risen beyond the limits you once placed upon your own identity. You begin to honor your story, not because it was easy, but because it was necessary. You understand now that your greatest difficulties became the catalysts for your awakening. The nights when you felt lost were not failures, but invitations, moments meant to draw you closer to the divine voice within you, the one that had been whispering guidance long before you were ready to listen. You look back with clarity and see how the universe was preparing you in ways you could not have imagined, strengthening you, shaping you, aligning you with a higher destiny that your mind could not yet comprehend. As this truth settles into your heart, you step into a deeper state of surrender. Not the kind of surrender that means giving up, but the kind that means letting go. Letting go of fear, letting go of resistance, letting go of the need to control every outcome. You begin to trust the flow of your life with a confidence you never had before. You allow things to unfold without forcing them, knowing that what is meant for you will never pass you by, and what is not meant for you will gently fall away. This surrender becomes a powerful turning point in your spiritual journey. It frees your energy, elevates your spirit, and opens doors you never knew existed. You start to attract situations, opportunities, and connections that align with your highest self, not by chasing them, but by becoming the version of you that naturally receives them. You step into a vibration of clarity, peace, and purpose that begins to radiate through everything you do. And with this newfound alignment comes a profound sense of gratitude. Gratitude for the journey, gratitude for the lessons, gratitude for the unseen guidance that has been with you all along. You begin to appreciate the small miracles in your everyday life, the conversations that lift your spirit, the synchronicities that confirm you are on the right path, the moments of intuitive clarity that reminds you of your connection to something divine. You start to understand that gratitude is not just an emotion, but a frequency, a powerful, energetic state that amplifies everything you are becoming. The more grateful you are, the more aligned you feel. The more aligned you feel, the more clearly you sense the quiet rhythm of the universe moving through your life. Gratitude becomes not just a practice, but a way of existing, a lens through which you begin to see the world with greater depth and meaning. At this stage of your awakening, you also begin to feel a subtle but profound shift in your purpose.
You realize that your journey is no longer just about personal growth. It is about sharing your light, your wisdom, and your understanding with others who are still walking through their own storms. You sense that your transformation is meant to ripple outward, elevating not just your own life, but the lives of those around you. You become more aware of the ways your presence influences others, even without words. You begin to offer compassion more freely, forgiveness more gently, understanding more deeply, and kindness more intentionally. Without even trying, you become a guide, a quiet beacon of light for those who feel lost in their own darkness. This is one of the greatest revelations of spiritual awakening, that your healing becomes a gift to the world, that your journey becomes a message, that your transformation becomes a testimony of what is possible when a soul chooses to rise. And so, as this chapter of your awakening concludes, you stand at the threshold of something greater, a new beginning shaped by clarity, strengthened by wisdom, and illuminated by the light that has awakened within you. You no longer walk blindly. You no longer fear the unknown. You carry a deeper understanding of your path, a stronger connection to your spirit, and a clearer vision of the life you are meant to create. The universe is not just around you, it is within you, and you are ready to step into your next season with confidence, intention, and a heart open to the infinite possibilities that await. Before we close this journey, I want to express my deepest gratitude to you. Thank you for being here, for listening, for walking this path of growth and awakening with sincerity and courage. Your presence matters, your energy matters, your transformation matters. And if this message has resonated with you, if it has brought clarity, peace, strength, or inspiration to your soul, I invite you to continue this journey with us. Thank you to everyone who has supported the RS Spiritual Vibes channel. Your love, your comments, and your presence mean more than words can express. And for those who haven't subscribed yet, I warmly invite you to join us. Become part of this growing community of seekers, dreamers, and awakened souls. Together, we rise, we learn, and we illuminate the path towards deeper truth and higher consciousness.